Well, hello everybody. Don't know if some of you or any of you have gotten to see my translation of AMLO's address today. He has been blocked or censored by a branch of the government right now because they say it's got to do with some elections. But I fear that it has the potential of becoming a problem with them trying to censor the media, which is the, what should I say, the web media. Because as it stands right now, they are obstructing or uh, keeping AMLO, the Mexican president, basically out of the media. Not only in Mexico, but also in the U.S. I kind of happened upon it because I was at my mother's house and she had happened upon it, uh, where I was like impressed, and I was going, well, why haven't I heard about this before? This was back in March. Might have even, yeah, I think it was around March that I found out, and I was looking everywhere in the news, on the. I was just everywhere. I was looking to see, well, why aren't they sharing it? What's going on? And then I found out that also most Mexican people don't know. Uh, of course, if the Mexican people that are there don't even know, because there's such a level of poverty that there's 75% of the people don't have internet, and the television media and the regular newspaper, which is kind of like a Inquirer type of thing called Reforma, usually caters to the, how should I say, the neoliberals, which is what they call them, which are the ones that are interested in financial gain and blocking any opposers that may interfere with the financial gain. So it's just a very sad situation with that, and and I just wonder if anybody out there has taken notice of this humanitarian president that was involved even in hello Richmond 339. Um, it's just good morning. It's just unbelievable that they're able to censor the Mexican president, even in Mexico. Right now, not only is he being blocked from the regular newspaper and the TV, they are also, um, uh, let's see, what is, it says I have a problem. Let me see. Keyframes are not being sent. Interesting. I don't know why. But anyway, I do have a secondary means of transmitting. But in any case, I I'm concerned that there's this censorship, like they're trying to spoon feed us the knowledge that they want us to have, and trying to obscure the view from this president who has ideas that have to do with humanity, with uh, providing for people the basic means of life. In fact, it's very impressive that when he went into office, he made a vow of austerity, which actually means it's kind of like taking a vow of poverty, but not quite so much. He says that I'm not. I think it was Cardenas. There was a president that he follows his example, where uh, the politicians or political or public servants should live in the median, not above and not at poverty level, but to the general median of basic, you know, like having a kind of normal house um, and well, in any case, not to live in excess while other people are living in poverty. And it's just so sad that uh, those things cannot be done in the U.S. and other countries that have poverty. We've heard of the people in Ethiopia and other countries that people are starving and living in subhuman standards. And yet here, this Mexican president took on the task of fighting corruption. Um, I'm sorry, I get emotional. Corruption is so rampant. Um, and these people that are migrating, they're not, there is some Mexicans, but the majority are from other countries. And damn, I was trying not to lose it. um, anyway, a lot of them are children, and so Mexico is trying to treat them in a human way, being humanitarian, and especially being careful with the children and being careful not to violate human rights, and maybe sometimes helping them, accompanying them all the way back home so that they can be safe. But there really is no home to go back to. The situation, the crisis, the war, the violence, the lack of jobs, the lack of being able to survive over there is so unimaginable to us that we need to take into account that other people, if we were in their situation, how we would feel. And gosh, thank goodness I'm not wearing mascara. But anyway, it just saddens me that this system is so corrupt that they don't want us to know what's possible. Because AMLO has instituted, not only is he blocking corruption, but he has instituted financial assistance to the very poor. He's instituted a free education for all levels of education, which were guaranteed in the Mexican Constitution up until a few years ago, where the neoliberals went in and started trying to privatize everything, from education to water to everything. Our oil, homes, everything in Mexico basically was almost completely destroyed due to privatization and corruption. The previous Mexican presidents would take the money and give the contracts to their friends and then leave the contracts. Not the projects started, and then just take the money and run. So Mexico is in a state of uh, half done. I mean, the hospitals were initiated. The fertilizer plants were started. Um, they started to try and build an airport in the middle of a lake, of all things. So then there was all the problems with that and environment, and they approved crazy things so that people could make money. And they took away people's lands, and I mean, at ridiculous prices, and sold it to foreign companies, and they just took bribes. And I mean, the level of corruption is unbelievable and unforgivable, I think. So right now there's a few things going on, um, and it looks like there's a problem transmitting. But in any case, I don't know what to do with it. It says more info. Let me see. Close it up, please. Keyframe frequency for it's not being sent often enough. Okay. Well, so how do you fix it? Group the pictures. I'm not sure how to fix it. So look, there's an error going on. So in any case, I'm also recording it on another channel, and I'll be uploading it later. And unfortunately, that means that probably my name is Mara Carranza. Let me type that there. I have a Facebook. Let's see. So the way I started this was because I decided that the gift I have is, that I am bilingual, and so when I went on and I tried to find anything in English, I didn't find anything in English, and I decided that I needed to interpret or translate, because I am a certified interpreter for the. Well, it's good in the U.S., everywhere in the U.S. I work at a prison as a nurse, as an RN, and I am on vacation right now, so this was the perfect time for me to initiate this work, and I love it. It's very fulfilling to know that I am doing my part to make it known, to let people know what's available to them. In fact, the other things I didn't finish telling you about was when he took the vow of austerity, he also did not, he opted not to live in the castle, and the Los Pinos castle, or it's kind of like the equivalent of the White House, but it's way larger. It's much more luxurious. It's unbelievable. I mean, you think of Mexican people and poverty and all this, but if you saw how the Mexican presidents were living, in fact, I do have a video, if you get the opportunity to see it. It's called AMLO and Los Pinos, Vow of Austerity, something like that. In any case, I thank you, Chino, Chico, for your comment. But anyway, so he took a vow of austerity. So he took the Los Pinos Castle, which is a huge property, and made it a kind of like a place. What do you call it? Where people can go see it. It's kind of like a amusement park in a way, but not. Oh, it's Pinos house. Okay, yes, that's right, Los Pinos. Yes, and yeah, I call it the castle because it's like a castle. I know they previously there was another president, and I can't remember his name, but there used to be a different castle, and and then he thought that was too luxurious, and so he made this other castle, basically in Los Pinos, which is supposed to be a lot, more. It was supposed to be a lot more in the median. However, they kept enlarging it and made it into this huge estate that is very impressive. Um, if you get the opportunity, the Kinetic Kennons have a beautiful video of their trip. Yes, Chapultepec. Thank you. Chapultepec has like a castle and I don't remember the president that turned it down. But there was a president that was supposed to live in a castle in Chapultepec, and then he opted not to live there. But in any case, that was the beginning of the vow of austerity. The other thing he did was, since all these political or politicians in Mexico were living in the lap of luxury while the people were living in poverty, he decided to make them all accountable. So he took their luxury vehicles and these properties. Yes, Cárdenas, thank you for looking that up. Cárdenas was the president that refused to live in that castle in Chapultepec and had Los Pinos built. And I appreciate your help, because sometimes these things just fly out my brain, like the name of a song or the name of a singer to a song that I know very well. But in any case, sometimes I forget certain words and I can't get them, so I always appreciate help. So the other thing is, he took the vehicles. And the other big thing was the presidential airplane, or airplanes, shall I say. There was several, but or at least two that I know of, that the president used to travel in and take his entourage. Thousands of dollars spent, millions of dollars spent on each trip, of the people's money, of course. And so they were living in this luxury, and so he took the airplane and he put it up for auction, and it's in the U.S. if it hasn't already been sold. But also all these luxury vehicles last weekend were auctioned off, and I believe they made about 600 million. And I'm not sure if that was pesos or dollars, but they made 600 million, which are going to be used to give to the most impoverished two areas in Mexico, which are in, what's that place called now? I can't think of the word. Somebody help me. There's these two very poor provinces, Oaxaca, two very poor provinces in Oaxaca, that the people are in such a state of poverty. In fact, some areas there don't have electricity, water, not to mention, TV or whatever. And that brings to mind another thing, that he is going to be, yes, Chiapas. Anyway, he's going to be putting internet, or I think he said fiber optics, to all the areas in Mexico. He wants to extend it everywhere, including areas that don't have electricity. They're going to add electricity, because they're going to be using the existing electrical lines as their basis for putting the what do you call it? So they're going to put the cables on the existing telephone poles, or lines, where the electricity runs. So they're going to use that, so they don't have to set up a new system. So they'll just kind of run it along it. and that way they're going to be able to um, help bring the Mexican people into the loop, because basically they're out of the loop. Some they say there's about 35% of Mexico that has never even used a phone or has no idea about phones, and that's an old thing, right? Much less computers or the internet, and so I know that I'm not sure if he's going to be actually giving them free phones or free computers, but something along the lines. I know that they're going to be getting the system in, the wires, the capacity for having internet services. And this is largely, and well, it's to help the people become more knowledgeable, but also because people in Mexico have been manipulated by the media. They're force-fed ridiculous things. Um, you know, they see movies about trafficking drugs, um, cheating housewives, just ridiculous things that are not really healthy. They want to keep them in the state of, um, well, what should I say, dumb, like make them feel dumb, like they don't know anything, they won't know anything, and and he wants to make sure that they're not treated as though they're stupid or dumb, or he wants to give them the tools to educate themselves, which also comes back to the educational part, making education free, putting out grants for people to be able to further their education without the concern about money. Um, there's going to be a certain amount of money given to the youth between the ages of, I think he said 18 or 19 to 29. Like if they already had an education, or if they didn't, they can become an apprentice and go into an apprentice program and get like 5,000 pesos or something a month, something like that, or every 2 months. Um, and and so the money will come from the government directly to them. So the employer or the tutor is required to teach them about values and how to run the business, and how to do the work, and but he's trying to keep the young people out of behaving inappropriately and getting involved in drugs, um, all these things that are destroying the youth. In fact, I heard a very sad thing, which was that there is certain parts of Mexico that there are no more youth. All the youth left and were involved either by force or out of necessity in the drug wars and drug business, or were taken into sexual slavery. There's so many crazy things going on in Mexico, but so they say that there's some places in Mexico that there's no more young people. All the young people have died, and so they're shocked when they see a young person come into their town. And I heard this from a young man that used to be a policeman in Mexico, but he was talking about that, and that really impressed me and saddened me, to think that so many of our young people have been lost in that war, and it's the war of corruption too, because the corruption is what led them not to have the education, is what led them not to have the money to survive, just the basic human needs. There was no um, money for food, money to pay the bills, and then they raised the rents, and they raised the taxes, and they raised the prices of gas and food, and they made it impossible for them to survive. Um, and so they so many of them were lost to that. and AMLO, the new president, has made it his um, oh, like goal to bring Mexico out of that state of corruption and those children, those young people, to have a chance in life and to be able to make something of themselves. And he's doing it by starting in the outermost areas, or how shall I say, the like the furthest regions of Mexico. And so he's getting the most impoverished, the furthest regions, and giving them the money first, giving them the help first. And so he's starting from the bottom up. You know, the trickle down theory of the rich will have all this money and some of it'll trickle down. No, that doesn't work. It never has worked. It surely doesn't work here in the U.S. The rich get richer and the poor get poorer, and it's just not working. And anybody can see that, except for the ones that are making money. Or, I'm not. I probably make more than most people as a nurse in a prison, and still, I have difficulty. So, if I am having difficulty, I can only imagine the people that are living at a tenth or a hundredth of what I make, and some have not even that. And it's a very sad thing that they would not be. There's my brother singing in the background. But anyway, it's just so sad that the government's previous presidents and politicians just went into this money grubbing craze, and just started taking everything and raping Mexico. I'm sorry, there's a fly in here. Raping Mexico, stealing all its, giving away. Basically they gave all our natural resources away for a little bribe or whatever it is they gained. They gained something, but the people lost it all, and the people were in such a dire state of poverty. Yes, I'm reading Richmond. It says there's a really big challenge to the current president. He has to, let me see, I'm sorry, that one is really small. It says, where is it at? He has to fight against corruption, conservative politics, poverty, robbery of people who used to do this to make the migrants, what other country, etc., etc. But yes, his final purpose is good. And yes, he does have quite a job on his hands. It's very sad to see that that they're blocking us from this knowledge. I think that if more people understood just what is going on, they would be impressed and they would want something like that for us, for us here in the U.S. And I say us because I'm part of it. I'm part of both sides, unfortunately. I'm Mexican, born in Mexico, American citizen now, and I have family on both sides. I have a brother and sister in Mexico, and I have my relatives over there, and I would love to be there and visit with them, and I would have loved to have grown up there if it had not been so impoverished, and if it had not been impossible for my family to survive there. I mean, some of my family survived, obviously, but unfortunately, for me, it wasn't in my hand. My father made the decision to bring us over here and have us study here, so he paid the bonds and the fees and to get us over here to have us have a better way of life. Because actually my parents met here in California, in a place called Arbin. My father was like a contractor for labor in the grapes and other produce. And he met my mother. She was here recently divorced and had left her daughter, her youngest, her only daughter behind when she met my father. And that's my sister that lives in Mexico, in Tijuana. And then she met my father, and he, they had an affair. He impregnated her. And then he said that he wanted us to be born in Mexico so that we could have dual citizenship and later be able to buy land in Mexico and all that. And I hope, at least that is the case. I thought he had ulterior motives, but in any case, he left us in Mexico for quite a few years. Let's see what it says. You can do more over there than here. Yeah. In any case, thank you, Richmond. In any case, what was I going to? I got distracted. Yes, so my father gave me dual citizenship, so I guess if I want to, I can retire in Mexico and, look at this gray hair. I'm an older woman. I'm 57, and I hope to retire soon. And yeah, the minimum daily salary was 88 pesos, which is about $5 in 2018. And he just increased it. That's true. That's another thing. There's so many things. I mean, I haven't even touched on all the things. I mean, there was also, yeah, the increase in the minimum wage, decrease in taxes of the homes. He got new laws to help the military be able to come in and help with the corruption and to fight crime, to keep like a public safety situation. Yeah, the border he increased to double. Yeah, in the borders next to Tijuana or whatever, he doubled the minimum wage. But other places, I'm not sure what he's done there. But in any case, there's been a lot of things done to help the people in Mexico, and I believe that if more people knew, they would really be impressed. I mean, I don't know what else to say. There's just, I don't know. Do you have any questions? I might be able to have some of the answers. I've been translating and most. Caleb, I'm recording. I'm sorry. My brother's yelling out. I don't think he realized I was recording. But anyway, yeah. So I live with my brother, and I can hear he's back here. Okay. I would like to pause, but I don't know how. Hold on just a moment. Okay. So my brother is going to need me to move a vehicle because we're doing a work in the back. A tree fell down with this last wind and did some damage, and we're trying to fix up that area. In any case, I'm going to have to cut this short, but I'll do more live sessions in the future, and if you guys can think of some questions, I'd be happy to answer, and give me your feedback. It helps when you like and subscribe and tell other people about the English translation of AMLO's daily presidential addresses. which, by the way, in any other country, when the president makes an address, it goes on the TV, in the news, and in Mexico it doesn't. I'm actually flabbergasted by that. But in any case, they can come to here if you have English-speaking people that want to know what's going on in Mexico. Let them know about AMLO-Vision, which is the reason I named it AMLO-Vision is because since television is blocking him, I want to make this like a television for the people that are having his information obstructed. So share it and let them know, that how he responded to tweets, comments, and how gracious he was, and how respectful and proper, and how impressive he was. And I will continue translating. Let's see, what is it? I will continue translating when I go back from vacation, because I usually get off work at 6 in the morning, even when I am forced to work a double, which is something that commonly happens in prison. You're forced to work a double shift. And so I get off at 6 in the morning, and I'll come home. But I wanted to kind of get started when I had the time to set up my equipment, my cameras, got this green screen, mics. Every time I tried to get started, I find that there was something missing, that something wasn't quite right. So I've been wanting to do this since March. But I'd get everything going, and then I had to go to work. I had to go somewhere, and life just got in the way. So now that I've got it going, I've got everything set up, I can just come in the morning. Usually I wake up and take a shower and get ready to start translating. And hopefully I'll continue to do that if they don't block it. I have a bit of a hard time because now that they're not putting AMLO's content on his channel, the other, should I say, videos that are out there that I'm going to use to translate have so much junk, stuff on the outside, like my AMLO-Vision and audio translation up there. But there's so much junk on the periphery that it's hard, and sometimes they put it in so close that, you practically have to remove, you have to get in so close to remove all that stuff, otherwise they might get you on the content, Hopefully people are willing to share their video transmissions with people like me that are hoping to help them to get the word out to the English-speaking people. Yes, I know it's only till a few more days, but in any case, I fear that they're going to be, trying to use this as a basis or as a precedent in order to control the media later. I'm really fearful of that. I think that they're trying to. Yes, they say Monday you're going to be back, but then I believe that maybe in the future elections of 21 or something, they're up to no good. I think that this was just like to see if they could get away with it. And I think something needs to be done so that there's no risk that they're going to obstruct the media or the World Wide Web, that they're not going to block it. Because how will the people ever find out the truth? And we need the truth. We need to know what's really happening. Not be force-fed the stuff that they want to give us that's basically mind control, controlling what we do, what we buy, and making us make poor decisions based on their lies, the trickery that they put out in the media because they're paid to do so. It's unbelievable to me that they get away with that. I mean, there has to be a law against, this trickery. Maybe there's something AMLO can come up with. Maybe he should open up or buy the doggone TV station and have it used for good use. Um, I think he should. I think he maybe the government can buy that. What is that? Univision or that other? There's another TV that's for sale because they can't afford it. They've lost so much revenue due to the internet. I think they should just buy that TV station because there's not because I'm not willing to do the internet, but because there's so many people that don't have internet and all they have is the TV and it's not available to them. Yeah, I know we're getting used to the internet. However, there's people that don't have access to the internet. There's people that don't have a phone. And so much less, we have to make sure that the people that for the moment only have TV will have access to the information. I mean, at least the daily address, for Pete's sake. Um, he's giving them information on a day-to-day basis of what's going on in the world, what's available to them, what he is doing to fight corruption, and also giving them the opportunity to expose the people that are corrupt in their little areas, because he's going from town to town, has gone through every place in Mexico, and I mean, who's done that? Who works on Monday through Friday? What president has ever, done this and helped the people and told the people, what's really going on in government so that we weren't like sheep, being herded around. Now we're knowing, we know what's going on, and we can take an active, stance, to know what we're making this decision about, and there's there are government channels already. That's great. That's great. But I think there's not enough because I certainly hadn't seen anything on TV, and most of the people I talk to don't even know about AMLO. They're like, "What? AMLO? What's that?" Or they don't know what's going on in Mexico. I say, "Hey, have you heard about what's happening in Mexico?" And they're like, "What?" So I know there's a lot of people that still don't know. And so, anyway, I've got to go because my brother is waiting for me. Yeah, see, only 20% has access to the internet in Mexico. That's pretty sad, right? Okay, okay, I've got to get off. My brother's waiting for me. I can hear all the clattering going on over there. Anyway, so I'll do another live show at some point. But for right now, I've got to go. Thank you very much. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. And share. Oops, I spelled subscribe wrong. Hold on. Gotta fix that. Opa. Oh, Lord. What is all that? Close that. Subscribe. And share. Okay, please like, subscribe, and share. And when you make comments, it also is helpful. It's great to have interaction, and I will respond to any of the comments that you make. And while it's possible, because when the channel gets bigger, sometimes it's harder, when there's thousands. Hopefully I don't ever get to that point, or I do. I don't know. In any case, please share it with people that don't speak Spanish and that want to know what's going on in the world of Mexico and AMLO. So thank you very much. You can also look me up. I have AMLO-Vision on Facebook. And I also do art. I have a show called The Universal Artist, which I have not been attending to because I've been doing more with AMLO-Vision, and I've wanted to focus for a while on this. I will be doing my art. I do acrylic paintings. I have a lot of work. You can go to my channel for Mara Carranza. On Facebook, you can see a lot of my art and pictures and family stuff. I'm a very public person, and I don't mind sharing. But anyway, so Mara Carranza is my name, and I have a channel in YouTube that's AMLO-Vision. I have a channel called The Universal Artist. I have one that says Mara Carranza, which is just other stuff, because I also am vegan and I do vegan recipes, and I know how to do woodworking, electrical, plumbing, all that stuff, which I've had to learn, since I've been widowed for many years, and I've always liked to do it anyway, so it's not that big a deal. But anyway, I gotta go. So goodbye. It was nice talking to all you guys. Bye.